Hi guys, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about mice or rat droppings cleanup. So as I was mentioning in the past video in the conclusion section, that mice or rat droppings are found, when the rats, they start to get inside the house. Sometimes they find holes in the household, the foundation, and they get inside the house. Or sometimes there's a construction work going on in the neighboring house, maybe, and they find a hole and they are able to get inside the house. And also, sometimes when the garage door opens in and out, they're able to find their way into the house. And especially if the garage door is connected to the house, then they're able to find their way through that too. So most of the times, the clients, they call us for mice or rat droppings cleanup in the garages, as I mentioned, in the shed. They're easily able to get inside the shed, dig their way inside to the shed. And also in kitchen areas, of course, they're attracted to food and they want to get to that. And so, yeah. So mice and rat droppings cleanup can range from a few areas in the kitchen to a whole house being infested with mice or rats. So in that case, what you want to do is you want to vacuum all the droppings and you want to make sure that you're using a HEPA filter for your vacuum. Next, spray the affected areas with a decontamination agent. Let it sit for 10 minutes. If it's like a concrete flooring, it's fine. Like if it's in the basement, then it's fine. But if it's like, the laminate section or hardwood flooring, then for sure you don't want to let the agent sit for too long. So you should wipe it away, maybe with a mop, one-time usage, and then dispose of the mop. Now, if the droppings are in kitchen cupboards, then remove all the items from the cupboards before you start work. Vacuum all the droppings and thoroughly use a decontamination agent to clean all the cupboards inside and out. Now, sometimes it's better to ask the client for a box if they have one. If they don't have a box for boxing up all these items from the cupboards, then maybe you can bring a box. But just, again, communicate in advance with the client. And secondly, now they might ask you to keep some stuff. So again, it depends if the heavy infestation means that pretty much everything should be disposed of. Now, dishes, pots, and stuff like that can be washed. They can be cleaned, but anything else like especially food, eating supplies, should be disposed of. So, step one: vacuum the affected area. Ensure that you have the HEPA filter on. Step two: spray the surface with a decontamination agent. Step 3, use a mop, one-time usage only if you're working on the floor, or paper towels if you're working on the countertops and cupboards to clean the area. Step 4, check if you've missed any spots, any corners, any nook and cranny, and repeat steps 1 to 3 if you did. And then step 5, finally gently spray the decontamination agent onto the surface in the form of a mist as you're leaving. That's it. Pigeon feces cleanup. Now, pigeon feces are to be found most likely in outdoor settings like balconies, apartment balconies, condo balconies, as well as outdoor decks. Though now, sometimes in very small instances, if the client had left a window open by mistake, then they can also be found indoors. So, if it's an outdoor balcony, then for sure the flooring is concrete, or if it's a house, a deck, it's a wooden surface. Then concrete flooring or wooden deck, for that use a hard bristled brush. Spray the decontamination agent. Always remember, guys, to use hot water so as to reduce the amount of effort that you have to put in. So use the brush right onto the surface. Use a paper towel to pick up the debris. And always remember that whenever you're doing this kind of work, even if it's outdoors, make sure you're wearing a face shield so that you avoid any kind of backsplash coming back to you. And put a garbage bag or a small tarp so that inside the house, if you're working inside a condo or apartment, if you have to walk back into the room from where you access to the balcony, then you don't want to step back with your dirty shoes or coveralls. Now, if the indoor areas are affected, then again, if the droppings are on the furniture items, depending on the items are porous or not, then they may be salvageable, maybe not. Of course, if they're not, then you have to dispose of them. For indoor areas, again, depending on the kind of surface of flooring, wood, laminate, carpet, or tiles, the cleanup is similar to that of death cleanup. Wooden flooring for sure will be stained, though to an extent, maybe a little bit of damage, depending on the time frame the feces were there. So, pigeon feces cleanup process. Now, let the client know before you're starting the work that most likely, it doesn't matter if it's concrete or if it's wooden flooring, laminate flooring that most likely is stained. It may or may not come off. right? For sure, in concrete, if it's porous in nature, pretty much it's not going to come off the stains. So, step one, remove the excess of dried up feces using an ice scraper or similar scraper. Step two, spray the surface with a decontamination agent. Step three, use a hard bristled brush to remove the remaining items stuck to the floor. Step four, use paper towel to soak up the fluids and debris. So, guys, when you're working on the balconies, you have to make sure that none of this water, the fluids, are going down to the floor below, right? So you always contain it. Step five, rinse out with clear water. Again, as I mentioned, if you're using clear water, means that you have another spray bottle with you with clear water, which you use that to spray and to check if there's anything left behind the section that you're working on. Then step six, repeat steps 2 to 5 until all the area is all clean. Step 7, as you're leaving, gently spray the decontamination agent onto the surface. Now, if it's concrete surface, you can pretty much spray liberally onto the surface as you're leaving, okay? That's all to handle the different kind of feces cleanups. Now, if you're working in outdoor sections like, balconies or sheds and stuff like that, if there's items which are contaminated with maybe the feces, then again, depending on the items are porous or non-porous in nature, you have to advise the client that they should be either be, if they're salvageable or they can be disposed of. So in the next video, we're going to talk about client etiquette, which is extremely important. You want to do that so that you can minimize the amount of friction between you and the client, and also to keep mutual respect, right? So that, clients start to request you for more and XYZ, and, you're getting frustrated over there. I will say that this is probably the next video on the client etiquette. It should be something that you watch it over and over again, not to miss out it. Okay, see you guys then.